Hey guys, this is Craig Grant with RETI. Today I'm going to do a session on how to really do a Google search better. I'm sure a lot of you guys just type in a few words into the search bar and hope to see you found what you're wanting and get back 3 million results and give up right away. Well, I'm going to show you there's some really easy to use tools that are right there. You just might not be noticing them to make the search a lot easier. So let's get going and teach you how to really excel on Google. Okay, so let's have a quick overview of what a search engine is and how they work. That way you can really learn how to do the best searches. So first of all, what is a search engine? It's a huge network of computers that has one job, to really go out and look at every web page they can find. But keep in mind, they don't look at the pretty web page you're seeing with all the pictures and the buttons and all the nice cool design. All they do is they look at the HTML code that builds each page. So that is important, just understanding, from a search engine optimization side, how they do it, is they really look at the code to try to figure out what every web page is. And what they're really trying to do is trying to figure out what's called a relevancy or a page rank score. They're trying to say if somebody just typed in a phrase into the search engine, how relevant is this site compared to every site on Earth, and where should we rank you? On page 1, or other sites more relevant than you, and you're still back 20, 30 pages back in the rankings. So other videos on RETI, we teach you about SEO and how you can potentially do this yourself and get yourself show up higher. But again, this is just basically what a search engine is a tool used to kind of rank every website in the searches. And the main thing is, from your end of how to do better searches, is I'm sure you know the old joke or saying, don't worry about how that mechanic fixed your car, just be happy they did and it's back up and running. Well, that's really what you need to kind of think about with search engines. Don't worry about how Google and Bing are so good at doing this and how they're able to give us really good results. Just be happy they do. The truth is, the geeks that work at Google and Bing are just brilliant. They're smarter than all of us combined. And what it means is the search engines are constantly learning and getting better and better each day. The search engines of today are so much better than the search engines of just 2 or 3 years ago. It's scary. In fact, now when you do a search, you might get totally different results than anyone else you know. Each person will get different results based on their age, their demographic, where they live, local colloquialisms, their search history, their just preferences of what they like and do online. All these kinds of things are being rolled in and impacted into the search results. So it's not as simple as, oh, this website's better than that one. Any person using a search engine can get different results than another person. And that's really important. So again, don't worry about how they're doing this, just be happy they do. Because, today's search engines, you can even ask them questions and most of the times they'll give you a correct answer. It's pretty amazing. So when you're doing a search or trying to think of what you're going to do a search for, think for 10 seconds and yes, you want to be as simple as possible, but also you want to be as specific as possible. So just really think it through and think what word combination will give me the best possible results. So there is a teeny bit of thought into getting a great search. And also some rules to understand and go by. First thing is, every word does matter. In other words, if you type in a 4-word phrase, one of the first things on Google's list is, let's look for sites with all 4 of these words. There's many 4 of these words. If you type in 5 words, now they're looking for 5 words. So yes, every word pretty much does matter, except for a few exceptions I'll teach you. Next is, the case sensitivity does not matter. If you type something in an uppercase or lowercase, does not matter. They're just looking at the letters in your phrase. And let's just give an example of what I meant by how they're getting so smart and they're so good and how things can have different results. Let's take the word who as an example. If I type in the word who, and then there's anything else in my search phrase that has to do with music, rock and roll, anything like that, now it knows I'm looking for the rock band, The Who. If I type in who and I'm connecting it with anything with charity or helping people around the world or anything like that, or health, now I'm looking for the World Organization. If I type in who as a predicate in a question, like who killed JFK, now it knows it's just part of a question. So one word can have totally different results just in the way it's used. Another thing to know is an exception are, yes, they will usually work at every word in your phrase, except they usually ignore what are called common or stop words. Little connecting words like a, and, the. Those are really usually meaningless to a phrase, so they usually will ignore them and just look at the real words as part of your question. And they almost always will ignore punctuation and symbols. The fact you throw an exclamation point at the end of your question does not mean they're going to make it a serious one. Okay, they usually will ignore symbols, but there are a few exceptions to this as well. For example, C+. Unless you remember back in school, if you were an average student, grade you might have received. Well, in the geek programming world, that's a computer programming language. So if I use C+, and I'm throw anything in there about coding or programming or computers, now it probably knows I'm looking for the C+ coding language. Also, look at Nikon 400. If I type that in, it might think I'm looking for the camera model 400 from Nikon. I throw a $sign in there, and now it might convert it into a camera shopping experience where it's looking for cameras from Nikon under $400 or around $400. So again, usually they'll ignore the punctuation and the symbols. Sometimes they will utilize them. And then there's always, of course, tips you can learn how to do better searches out on the search engine itself and in the search bar. So that's what we'll show you next. So now let's take a look at the Google search engine. I'm sure just about anyone watching this video has used it before because it's the most popular website on earth, and it's pretty much the most popular site by far. So it's very simple, which is one of the great parts is it's very easy to learn how to use. So all you really have is the search bar. So if I want to go do a search, I just start typing in what I'm looking for. And you can see as soon as I'm typing, it starts pre-populating other things that might be related to the search trying to help me. So maybe I just want to grab the homes for sale Miami, Florida. I click on that, and I search. And by the other thing that I could have showed you before we did the search is also the microphone that's in the search bar as well. If you're doing a search and maybe you are driving or just don't have the ability to type at that moment, you can just click on the microphone and speak. Use your voice to do a search as well. Google's got a lot of cool tools like that. So, looking at our search results, homes for sale, Miami, Florida, 12,700,000 results. That's a lot of stuff to digest, and you're probably not going to find exactly what you're looking for if you get 12,700,000 results. And honestly, it's going to be a whole lot of the huge major sites out there like the Zillows and the Trulias of the world. So, what we're going to show you is a lot of cool tricks you could do to help make your search a lot more specific and find what you're looking for. So the first thing is, once I do a search and I get to the results level, you'll see that now I have this row of text tabs here right below the search bar. All, maps, shopping, images, news, more, and search tools. So in other words, instead of having all, which is any kind of thing on the internet, any website, any video, any image, any news, all mixed into one tab, I could always click on any of these other things to try to filter it down and make it a smaller search result. For example, if I want to find out news about Miami, homes for sale, I click on that and there's only 1,270,000 results now instead of the previous, the 27 million. Under more, I have some additional capabilities. For example, maybe I just want to see videos of homes for sale in Miami. Okay, and again, now we have 2,940,000 results. So by using these little tabs, it allows us to get that gigantic number we got with the all down to a much smaller number that's more targeted. The other thing is if I click on the search tools button over here on the right, I click on that and a second row of filters will appear. So under videos, for example, I can say the duration, how long of a video I want to watch. I don't want to sit through a long one, just show me short ones. Or the time, when was this video uploaded? Only show me stuff uploaded in the past hour, the past day, the past week or month. How high of a quality of video do you want to watch? Maybe you're on a slow connection and you don't want to see high quality. And do you want to see all videos or just ones with closed captioning? And there's even the ability with videos for the source. Only show me videos on YouTube or on Zillow. That kind of deal. And by the way, each of these tabs has its own second line of filter. So for example, I click on images, I'm going to get a whole different set of options under search tools. Now we have the size of the image. Maybe I just want a small or a large picture. The color, and a really helpful one here, by the way, is transparent. Maybe you're looking for a logo or something where you don't want a colorful background. You can say only bring in transparent pictures and you won't get backgrounds in them. What kind of file type type you're trying to do, like picture type, the time it was uploaded, the usage rights. Can you use this even in marketing commercially? Or could you potentially get sued for it? And again, under more tools, it also shows you the sizes as well. And this happens with all the different tabs. If I move under news, same deal. I can have another second row of search tools. So we have our news and how recent it was done, and relevance. Okay, so all of these have this. Even under more, under the all, we also have a second row of search tools here, where you can say, I just want to bring in things by time, when it was uploaded, or all the results. And under all results is also verbatim. In other words, I don't want to find sites that have these words in or about these words. They have to be typed exactly this way in this order. Okay. Another way to do that, by the way, is also coming up to the search bar and typing quotes around your search. That would only return a verbatim result of exactly the same way. Another kind of cool trick you might want to know is how you can subtract things. Maybe I want to take out videos. I just put minus without a space and a word, and I also can subtract videos out of my results. We just dropped down to 16,700,000. So you can remove anything from a search you want. Another cool trick is you can also do two searches at one time. It's called the OR operator. If I type in the word OR capitalized, now I'm going to say I want to do home for sale in Miami, Florida, or Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So now I'm doing basically two searches at the same time. I'm searching both Miami and Fort Lauderdale at once. Okay, so that's called the OR operator. If you put the word OR capitalized in between two things, you're doing two searches at the same time. Pretty cool and powerful. Some other tricks you could do. So let's get it back to just Miami, Florida. Okay. Is in addition to subtracting out a word and doing the OR, we're doing two searches at once. Some other things are, we can also come over here to the right where the little gear is, and we can click on the gear and say we want to go to advanced search. Advanced search would bring me to basically an advanced search form, where now I don't have to remember all the weird little tricks about subtracting words and things like that. Now they're all here in a search form for me. I can just do it by filling in certain fields. So if this is a little bit easier for you versus doing the tricks up in the search bar, you can just do them right here. And there's even options in the search for, the safe search, whether you want to return, potentially dirty things or not. Do you want to make sure that things are commercially safe for you to kind of download where you're not going to get sued for them? File formats. So you have a lot of capabilities here in the advanced search form that might be quicker and easier for you to do. So to kind of back up again and show you how I did that, out on the Google search engine, to the right of the search bar is the little gear. You click on the gear, and here's where you can get to your search settings. You can determine your language, and you can also go in to your history and also access that advanced search form. So hopefully these tricks help you out a lot, and now you're not really getting, 80 million results in a search and having to just kind of fight through the first page, several pages. But by doing these tricks, hopefully it'll get you to really what you're looking for a lot better. Of course, keep checking back on RETI. We're constantly adding new tips and tricks and more videos, and we do our webinars every week and our instructor hangouts as well, where you can ask us questions. Always keep checking back and help support us, because we'd love to keep helping everyone in the real estate industry learn about technology. Thank you so much, and hope you enjoyed the video.